Hey y'all, this document, which I'm nicknaming the green document, is a collection of essentially all the information you need to write your IA. Decent amount of work has gone into this document, so I'd recommend bookmarking it. I would not copy this document because it may be updated as I have better ideas, feedback from you, the students, and anyone else to make this a little bit better and a little bit easier to use. So, starting at the top, again, it just provides an introduction to, what the IA is. The IA is worth 25% of your overall IB score. And again, please do not make a copy of the document. It will be updated as we go along. So this is a general overview here. The link to the research proposal is here. And again, it's just basic information. So the research proposal, 500 words, a maximum of 2,000 words for the overall IA, and each of these bullet points kind of go through and detail what you need to include. So what needs to be included specifically is here. All these pieces, and you'll notice if you go through the exemplar IAs, they include all of these pieces as part of the entire IA package. So how will you be marked? How will you be graded for the IA? This comes directly from the IB. Each criterion, so each one of these, for example, the research proposal, sources and data, use of tools, each of these has a different number of marks that's available. So in order to get all 3 marks in uses of tools, techniques, and theories, the TTT, so you need to have good understanding of relevant business management tools, techniques, and theories, and these are skillfully applied. You notice how skillfully differs from suitably in the 2-mark category. So if this should be used as a checklist as you're getting close to the end of your IA to make sure that you have all the pieces necessary to get the maximum marks you have deserved and earned. This page includes example IAs. So these two, HL exemplar number 1, HL exemplar number 2, I made separate recordings for, so you can go through and listen to those. I've annotated those IAs there. In addition, there are 2 other IAs provided by the IB, as well as a list of 52 titles if you're having difficulty coming up with a research question. Now, these are not from the IB themselves. This is from a conference, IB conference, a couple years back. So some are good, some are not, and you need to be selective in what you choose to do. The subject reports, the IB reviews the quality of the IAs every year. We'll go over what the IB said most recently when you get back in August about the IAs and what they'd like students to do more of and what they'd like students to do less of. So moving on, this page here is a pretty good overview of the TTT, the tools, techniques, and theories. So this covers the entire course. First year, you did chapter 1 or unit 1, unit 3, and unit 4. And then in the second year, we'll do all those again, probably, to review for the exam, but also human resources and then operations. This list here includes most of the major tools, theories, and techniques from that unit. Does it include everything? No. So if there are other tools you'd like to use, feel free to do so as long as they're part of our course. But these are some of the major ones that you can include in your IA when you're writing it. So you want between 2 and 4 areas of the syllabus and between 2 and 4 tools that you want to use as the means to conduct your analysis for your IA. So timeline, if you listen to the initial presentation, I gave you more specifics with regard to the deadlines in yellow. But over the summer, you're really trying to get started and do steps 2, 3, and 4. And then November, first draft, final draft in March, and in between, a fair bit of fixing and working in class. So we'll have some time in class, several classes probably, to work on the IA, and you'll be able to read other students' IAs and get feedback on your own. As your teacher, I'm only allowed to give you feedback once in a formal setting. So you'll get feedback formally once from me, but then also hopefully more informal feedback more frequently from your peers. So steps 1, 2, 3, and 4. Step 1 is getting started. And again, in the other document presentation, this covers kind of the informal meeting with the organization, figuring out more about them so you can figure out what to ask and what your research question should be. there are a number of boxes here that you can use as a checklist to organize kind of what you do and what you need to do. If you need more help, there is this research planner here, which you may not be able to see. And you're able to use this. It gives you some details about what you may want to consider as you're going through your pre-research plan. So you don't have to use this. This document could be sufficient, but you may want to consider it. The second thing here is a letter that I composed stating the purpose of what you're doing. So if your company is a little bit skeptical about what you're doing and they're not quite sure it's legitimate and you need some proof that you are actually a student RIS and you're doing this for your business management IA, you can print out a copy of this letter and send it to them. This is kind of explaining what we're doing, why it's important, and why they should trust you. So step 2, the research proposal. The hope is that you get this done over the summer. So it's ready to turn in August when you get back. This is the exemplar. This is a checklist if you need a little bit of help organizing yourself. And again, the deadline tentatively right now is August 19th. So not right when you get back, you have one additional weekend and then it is due. So you do get 3 out of 5, 25 marks for your research proposal. The introduction to methodology, to be frank, you don't have to do this over the summer. Perhaps the most important thing is to get the research proposal done and get all your information gathered. But if you do want to start, this is an excellent way to do it and get ahead. And you'll notice, before I go on, you'll notice that it gives you a suggested word count for each section. So you want to spend most of the words in your analysis and evaluation, but you do want to make sure you spend enough words doing your introduction and methodology. But again, it is, in some respects, a numbers allocation game, so you should spend enough, but not too much, on your introduction and methodology. And then the bulk of the summer, hopefully, is spent doing research and data collection. So once you have the initial meeting, you have an idea of what challenges your target firm is facing, you can come up with a list of questions that you need to answer in order to answer the major research question, and a list of information that you need to collect from them, hopefully over the summer. Again, over the summer, they are working, but you are not. So you have and you can be very flexible in order to meet with them and gather the information. So I'd recommend very strongly trying to gather as much information as you can over the summer, because your life in the fall will be quite busy and it'll make things a little bit easier. So steps 5, 6, 7, etc. we will cover more in the fall. And then there is a particular format that I would like it in to aid my sending it to the IB. So please take a look. Most everything is linked in here, including information directly from the IB. If we go back up to the very top, this is the HL guide from the IB, directly from the business management guide itself. Any questions, please don't hesitate to send me an email or ask me a question. Happy to help.